Space, the final frontier. Space Station Ashland sits on the edge of Federation space with its companion ship, the U.S.S. Dilamus Christian. The space around them is full of mystery and strange wonders, where secrets are kept and danger lurks around every corner. The crew of the Dilamus Christian must navigate treacherous waters as they work to protect the Federation. But as they peer into the unknown, they will discover that the line between friend and foe is not always clear. They will be tested like never before and will face challenges that will push them to their limits. Join us on this adventure as we explore the farthest reaches of space and uncover the hidden truths that lie within the shadows. Tabletop Journeys presents Star Trek Preservations.
Welcome, travelers. My name is Lee Wanika, and this is a bonus episode for Star Trek Preservations. I'm here again with our amazing voice cast to talk about Season 3, Episode 2, Shadow of the Storm. As we did after Episode 1, we wanted to make sure we continue to showcase this great game and all of its features, or as many as its features that we can stuff into our episodes.
Hi everyone, my name is Joe Harney, and I am playing Captain Sabian Tobor, the commanding officer of the U.S.S. Dilamus Christian, a Saber-class Federation starship.
Hi, I'm Adam Scaramella, and I portray Lieutenant Commando Ocean Chazilur, the Dilamus Christian's Andorian First Officer.
Yeah, my name is David Rideout. I play the Chief Engineer, Avidian Tanari, who, shall we say, jumps into the mouth of the tiger more often than not.
Hi, my name is Lacey Knutson, and I'm playing Lieutenant Narila Nilan, the very brave science officer of the Dilamus Christian.
Thank you all. The goal is to go through the reputation rolls for Episode 2. I will remind everyone of our mission directives outside of the standard Starfleet directives. Our mission directives will stabilize the Talarian colony's climate before it becomes uninhabitable. Work with Talarian officials to determine the best course of action while respecting their sovereignty. Those were the mission directives. We're going to figure out the things that the crew did well. We're going to figure out the things that the crew may not have done well on. And then there's a role mechanic on page 171 for how that displays itself as far as what happens as a result. Claim points would be generated. The players will get to spend those acclaim points for various impacts to improve or adjust their characters. We'll start with the captain and ask the basic questions. And if everybody's following along, they might have these answers already written down because they are the same questions for everyone. But that way we can go through rapidly for everyone. These are individual questions. Just because one person has a yes somewhere does not necessarily mean somebody else has to. All right, first question, was your mission successful?
I would say so, yes.
Did you positively use one or more of the mission's directives?
I did not.
All right. And did you obey orders given to you by your superiors?
Save the day? Yes, indeed.
Did you prevent combat from occurring or avoid escalating hostilities?
I don't know. There was no combat to be had, and I escalated it with the major, but positively with the administrator, so I don't know if we want to say a yes or no on that one, Lee.
I think I would leave that as a null answer because of the general lack of really being a factor and the fact that it split both ways, the one instance where it may or may not have been. So we'll leave that as a null answer. Did you establish common ground or peaceful cooperation with those who you were newly encountered or were previously hostile to you?
I would say so. The Talarians, were not new, but they've been hostile previously.
I would also say that in this type of mission, even if you have familiarity with the culture, The individuals at play you did not. So I would say that was definitively a yes there. Did you directly contribute to saving the lives of innocent people or your fellow crew?
Yes.
And did you take all reasonable action to render aid to those in urgent need or distress?
Absolutely.
That covers the positive questions. Moving on to the negative influence questions. Was your mission a failure?
Nope.
Did you challenge one of the mission's directives?
Nope.
Were you disobedient to your superiors?
Nope.
Were personnel under your command killed during the mission?
Nope.
Did you employ force to any ends other than the defense of self, ship, crew, or innocent life?
Nope.
Did you employ lethal force during the mission?
Nope.
Did you take any unnecessary risks during the mission?
I don't think they were unnecessary. No.
Did you cause or allow through inaction innocent lives to be lost during the mission?
Nope.
Did you lie, cheat, threaten, or coerce others to achieve objectives during the mission?
Tiny
Yeah,
bit.
that's a fat yes. That's a big old fat yes. Captain Tobor's simmer down now. The grown-ups are talking.
Worth it.
And well deserved. Did you permit a colleague or subordinate to act unethically or illegally in the performance of their duties?
Nope.
All right. So with that, we have the captain's positive rolls. That will build your dice pool. So your number of yeses to the positive questions plus your current reputation score is
There's 5 yeses, so the dice pool is 5. The target number is 7 plus my reputation, and with my reputation of being a 4. So my target number is an 11. And the difficulty is the 1 coercion. So I need at least 1 success.
let me, for the sake of clarity, I want to make sure I have it right. The number of yeses equals your dice pool, correct?
That's correct.
The number of no's equals your difficulty.
Correct.
And your target number is equal to?
7 plus your current reputation.
Okay, got it. So you achieved 5 acclaim, and you are spending that all to improve your reputation from 4 to 5.
Correct.
Excellent. We move on to our XO.
Sure. How does that play out since Ocean did not really take an active part in this mission?
So you did some prep work that did actually involve getting us set for the mission, and you were in
Okay.
command of the ship when it happened. So while you were not involved in everything, it will probably result in more null answers. So your dice pool may in fact be less, but you're also exposed to less of the no's, which may have indicated a higher degree of difficulty.
In fact, just quickly going down the list of the no's, especially because you didn't threaten or coerce anyone, I think you're actually at a 0 difficulty.
Yeah, you're at a 0 difficulty, definitely.
Okay.
And in fact, I would say, Lee, all 3 of the remaining player characters are at that 0 difficulty.
I would agree. I don't think anybody threatened anybody at any point, and I don't think anybody hit any of the no's on this mission. This was probably one of the cleanest by the book missions the crew of the Dilamus Christian has executed in 2 years plus of achieving skyward momentum.
I will say I was waiting for some other shoe to drop, some Romulan warbird to decloak or some marine attack out of the something.
You kidnap one sentient from a planet and they hold it over you forever.
Hey, it turned out to be okay.
After a fashion. All right. So with that, how many yeses did you end up with?
So I would say I did not directly contribute. A lot of it was prep work. The questions that I would throw out to you for judgment on is, was I engaged in establishing the common ground or the peaceful cooperation? Yeah, I did do the legwork ahead of time, but that's not.
I think yes, because I actually had written in when I created those dossiers for those characters information to provide if there was a complication in those roles. And since you took that on and handed that info to somebody else, I was prepared to give Joe incorrect information, which would have resulted in
Okay.
more difficult work down the road. Because you specifically are a character that gets info from other sources, which as complication possibilities. I really wanted to honor those character building choices by making sure that things could actually get complicated if things went the wrong direction.
Okay. So the second to last one, I wasn't directly contributing to that. So I would say all of them except for one, really.
So 6.
Yeah.
All right. That's your dice pool. You have 0 difficulty.
Well,
And
so
your target number is 7 plus.
real quick, so you didn't positively use the mission directive, right?
No. So, okay. So 5.
5. Yeah.
So
And
5 is your dice pool. Your target
Okay.
number is 7 plus your current reputation.
Okay. So my target number is a
10 or less.
So I got 4.
All right.
And did you roll any that were 3 or less?
Yes, I rolled 2 that were 3 or less.
So those are criticals, like though you had a focus.
Yep.
Okay,
So
so
that
that's
would
total
make it
6.
6. Nicely done. All right. With 6 acclaim, you have some options. As your captain did, you could move yourself from a 3 to a 4 with 4 of those. You have gain favor, which is basically making a connection with an NPC who can come to aid or help you with challenges down the road that they can work with, having a friend in the Talarian government, that type of thing.
The favor starts at 1 and it increases to 2 if they're not Starfleet, and increases to 3 if they command a starship, and it increases by 2 if that NPC is an admiral, general, ambassador, high-ranking female.
And then there's also awards. Now, because you weren't terribly involved in this mission, awards may not make a whole lot of sense for you to take at this point. So,
but there is also the Starfleet Decoration for Gallantry, which is the base meritorious service.
Now we just established that I had 6. Yes.
6. Correct. You have 6 acclaim.
I think I'm going to increase my reputation by 1 and then use the gain favor twice, but I'd like to leverage it on what I did at the beginning of the game.
Okay.
That I have some additional sway with 2 of the XOs on the other ships.
Ooh, nice. You have a role
Ranks?
played before we were doing this, the reputations with the XO of the Faraday. So I'm not going to make you buy that. You've done the work over the course of 2 years to get that. So consider that done. But I would say with 2 other ships, I'll get you the list and we'll figure out which 2 ships those are. You can tell me which ones you wanted to really bring across.
There's only 4 ships in the patrol group, aren't there?
There's more.
Okay.
It has increased, and it increased over that 3-month period. So I will give you the complete list out of session, and that way you can decide which one you think will work best. So
perfect. Thank you.
All right, Lieutenant Tenari.
All right. I was looking at the question, and I think there are 3 of them that apply that I can really answer yes to. And that's, was your mission successful?
Yep.
Did you obey the orders given to you by your superiors?
Yep.
And did you directly contribute to saving the lives of innocent people or your fellow crew?
Yep.
If there's anything else anyone can see.
You didn't prevent a combat and you didn't directly contribute to saving. You did the engineering part.
Yeah.
That's why I said I did directly contribute. That was one of the ones I said. I did not establish common ground. I don't think I positively used one or more of the mission directives.
I would say you did take all reasonable actions to render aid. I think part of rendering aid is stopping the threat. So I would consider that to be a yes.
Okay, so that would be 4 then.
Excellent. Yeah, with a difficulty 0, since you didn't have to lie, cheat, threaten, or coerce.
So my reputation's 3, so that's a difficulty 10. And just because I'm me, we cannot get complications on this roll, right?
So
you can.
Okay.
However, the complication only comes into play if you also fail the roll, which is impossible on a difficulty 0.
Okay. I got no successes.
They just expect you to be this good.
Yeah.
Basically, they're like, Tenari did his thing and we succeeded.
Yep. 2
right.
14s, a 13, and a 17.
Oof. All right.
Lieutenant but no 20s.
Milan. Yeah, but no 20s.
Liwanika, at the end of season 3, episode 1, I got an extra determination. I spend that determination to go ahead and re-roll my reputation roll for the episode 2. since I rolled 4 dice and got 0 successes.
Yes, let's do that. There are a whole lot of reasons why someone might say, maybe we don't, maybe we do. I liked the idea. Determination's not the easiest resource to come across. While I do provide that and hand that out when situations call for it, it's not something I hand out willy-nilly either. It is a great mechanic, and it is a powerful tool for players to utilize. And I think this is just one of those tools that would really count. I will ask this question as we go into it. Which value are you utilizing in the to call on this determination for?
Episode 2 was us assisting the Tenarians on their world with the solar shield.
Yes.
And so repairing it and figuring out what was going on, the value I would be utilizing would be good maintenance saves lives.
All in. All in.
And this is
Yeah.
also talking on a meta level on gaming things. Determination is one of the many meta currencies in the game. And I just have a philosophical thing. I don't necessarily like hoarding meta currencies for later. If
Yeah.
a game master gives it to you, I like to go ahead and spend it. So that's also why I asked if I could go ahead and spend it on this roll. I don't want to hoard it and then all of a sudden season 6 suddenly surprise them with, oh, I've got this extra determination.
I'm right with you. I have been on this side of the screen more than I have been on the other side of the screen. So with determination, I often wonder how would I use it as we're playing. Even though I'm sitting here as in the GM chair, I'm often thinking about, okay, if I had a character in this scene, what determination would I use in this point? I am actually learning how I want to play through the rest of you playing, because sooner or later I'm going to get to play again. I do think, very similar to you, I don't hang on to inspiration when I play the other role playing game. I don't hang on to meta currencies, bennies when I play Savage Worlds or whatever. They are there to be the blood, the ebb and flow of the game systems. That's why they were created. So the object is use them. Use them, don't hoard them.
So I'm rolling
All
4
right.
dice, target number of 10 with a difficulty of 0.
That is correct.
A 1, a 7, a 10, and a 15.
All right.
Which
Because the 1 is under your reputation score, that counts as 2 successes.
Okay,
Right?
so I have 4. As tempting as it is to go for a promotion, since I've got the 4 acclaim right now, I'm just going to go ahead and increase my reputation to a 4.
Okay. I like the sound of that. So with that, at the end of Shadows of the Storm, Tanari is going to go ahead and increase his reputation from a 3 to a 4. And for those interested in kind of what that looks like, a person with a 3 reputation, their reputation is solid. And their performance is satisfactory. This is really the default for new characters. And you are you. However, at a 4, you have a fine record, including a few commendations for exceptional performance. You're viewed as a good and dutiful officer or crew person, and your expertise and perspectives are worthy of consideration. As far as that would be for civilian or for Starfleet officers.
Okay. I think the mission was successful, and I think I obeyed the orders given to me.
And I think, like Tanari, you contributed saving lives and did all the reasonable action to aid. So I think it's a similar 4 dice, 0 difficulty, target number equal to or less than 10.
So I got 11, 5, 4, and 8.
That's 3.
Yep. All right. With 3 acclaim.
Not enough to increase the reputation.
No,
You
yep.
need 4.
4.
So there are awards that you could get. There are contacts you could make. For example, if you wish to have a contact with this particular scientist, that would be a 3 based on her position within the Talarian science community. Or there's awards, and I should say that awards can have long-term really positive effects. They generally add something beneficial that you could use per session or often with your character, they add a mechanical benefit to characters. So there is some merit to looking through those, but depending on how you feel narratively about the mission we just completed, something like a contact may make more sense.
And just to throw it out there for narrative making sense, the Cochrane Medal of Excellence is given to those who perform outstanding feats in various fields of science and engineering. Since you reverse engineered this Dyson sphere shade technology, that could be an award.
Yep.
You would select a single focus that you possess, which must be related to science or engineering. Once per mission, when you spend a point of determination on a task that involves that focus, the character may select two benefits of spending that point of determination instead of one.
For example, you could choose astrophysics as the focus in question because that was the big one that came into play here. And basically, you get the Federation's version of the Nobel Prize in science. And that gives you the ability to use determination in a much better way for future adventures and missions.
Okay, I like that.
Okay.
Then I was just wondering, what does it mean to positively use one or more of the mission's directives?
Like one of your values, the mission directive exists to be like a global value. So you could spend a point of determination to, assist the mission. And if one of your four values didn't apply to that situation, but it was to help the benefit the mission, you could use that instead, and you would positively use the directive. Similarly, if you go against the mission, it would technically be a challenge of it, and it would tick off under one of the negative influences.
And then how do you get determination besides Tanari's method?
Everybody starts with one,
Oh,
and then various abilities can help you get another. There are role playing situations which can, on occasion, create that, but they're not a ton of them. Usually, it's something mechanical, and the idea is once per session you can get to that. But
Or in general, if one of your four values would complicate the scene sufficiently, either the GM can offer it to you and say, hey, your germophobia is causing you to have an issue in this scene. Here's a point of determination to make it harder to succeed. Or you can, like I did, I volunteered. I'm have so much experience that I'm going to yell at the dude and make the next roll harder, but I get the benefit of the determination point that I could then spend.
thank you, everyone in the audience, for listening to us. We love this game. And again, Star Trek Adventures 2E, the core rules, quick start rules are out there for free. You can get them from the Modiphius site. You can get them on DriveThruRPG. Definitely worth checking out. If you want to play the game and you're having trouble finding folks to play with, hashtag Call Your Boys TTJ. We have monthly Patreon games. We have open invites from time to time when we have open seats, and we are likely to be opening up some additional gaming here through the channel. Our Discord is a great place to talk to folks, interact with cast members through our community that we're starting to build on Discord. Of course, we are always available on Facebook through our Facebook community, and you can generally see any number of our cast members piping in on the Star Trek Adventures page all the time. Like, I don't think there's a day that goes by that one of us hasn't commented or said something or liked or hearted something that's on the Star Trek Adventures page. Look out for us. We're going to have a lot of fun. We'd love to have you join our crew. Thanks so much for your time tonight. Thanks for joining us at Tabletop Journeys, and thanks for enjoying Star Trek Preservations. All I've got to say at this point is let's plot a course and let's get out there and see the stars. Have a good night, all.